We begin with some somber news this Sunday. It is the story that is sweeping the nation tonight. Good evening, I'm Karina Garcia. President Jimmy Carter, the 39th president of the United States, has died at the age of 100. President Carter was the oldest living former president and only 56 years old when he left the Oval Office. He would go on to spend the next 4 decades dedicating his life to public service.
Former President Jimmy Carter marked his 100th birthday in October, the first former president to do so.
I don't know if anybody in the family expected that we'd be here for 100. And it's just amazing he's an amazing person. He's an amazing grandfather.
A milestone in a life Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock described as focused on others.
What an incredible person, an incredible human being.
Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin says Carter's biggest legacy wasn't his 4 years as commander-in-chief, but what he did after he left the White House.
He has done more good for the world since he served as president than any previous president in history.
Carter and his wife Rosalind dedicated their post-Washington life to service. In 1982, they opened the Carter Center to promote democracy and human rights around the world.
Every president can see a role model in Jimmy Carter's post-presidency.
The Carters were also champions for Habitat for Humanity, helping volunteers build, renovate, and repair more than 4,000 homes.
He set an example for all of us who feel we have an obligation to help our neighbors.
He was what I would describe as a closest thing to a Renaissance man in the modern presidency.
Stuart Eisenstadt, an advisor to Carter in the White House, says from his time as lieutenant in the U.S. Navy to commander-in-chief to his years of diplomacy and philanthropy, Carter was an honest and honorable man who devoted his life to serving his country.
He's had a life that's been full and complete, so varied that it's remarkable, and it's been a life well lived.
In his last public outing, former President Jimmy Carter attended his wife of 77 years, Rosalind Carter's funeral in November of 2023. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Governor Glenn Youngkin commented on the former president's passing, posting a reaction on X saying, quote, "Susan and I join our nation to mourn the passing of Jimmy Carter, a devoted public servant and 39th president. He served our country in the Navy, as a Georgia state senator, and as the governor of Georgia. We are praying for the Carter family during this difficult time. His faith was always inspiring to others. May he rest in peace." And Senator Mark Warner commemorated President Carter's philanthropy, leadership, and love for the country. He also stated in a press release, quote, "Jimmy Carter gave me my first job out of law school, and I have deeply admired his service since leaving the Oval Office. His dedication to building homes through Habitat for Humanity has always brought back warm memories of my father." Senator Warner goes on to say that much like the greatest generation of the president, President Carter will be remembered by what he built and left behind for us, a model of service late into life, unquote.